This is Planet Music.
Welcome to Planet Music from the makers of Planet Marzipan.
In a streaming world, we're proud to be a podcast that celebrates the art of the album. Hello and welcome to Planet Music. I'm Neza. I'm here with my good friends
Craig.
and
Mikey.
and
Great.
hi guys. Welcome
Oh,
back. We haven't recorded
hello.
for a while, so this is a bit of a reunion.
Happy New Year.
Not that long, but yes.
Feels like it.
Yeah,
Too many singles to talk about, I think. That's what it was, wasn't it?
absolutely, yeah. But welcome to the episode. We're here, as you can see from the title of the episode, to talk about Billy Joel's 1977 album, The Stranger. I'm going to start with the Wikipedia entry, as we normally do, and then we'll talk a little bit about the background to the record and why we've picked it, I think, if that's all right. So, The Stranger is the fifth studio album by the American singer-songwriter Billy Joel, released on September the 29th, 1977 by Columbia Records. It was the first of Joel's albums to be produced by Phil Ramone, with whom he would work for 5 subsequent albums. Joel's previous album, Turnstiles, in 1976, had sold modestly,
Easy for you to say.
I know, and peaked at only 122 on the US Billboard 200 charts, prompting Columbia to consider dropping him for his next release if it sold poorly. And it goes on, there's quite a lot.
Yes.
But, full disclosure, I think the four of us have all watched the HBO Billy Joel 2-part documentary, and so it goes, haven't we?
Yes.
Twice.
We have
Twice.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah, which is why we've picked this album. If you've any interest in Billy Joel at all, and you haven't seen the documentary, it's highly regarded. It's a fantastic documentary, but it's 5 hours long, isn't it, Craig?
Yeah, it's 5 hours over the 2 parts. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's in depth and it's brilliant. It's really good.
And Craig watched it in one day.
Yes, I did.
I mean, I think I'd say it's not even if you've got any interest in Billy Joel. It's like if you know some of the singles and want to know a little bit more, it's an amazing way of learning because it shows all the different facets of him as a writer and a person and stuff, and it gives you an insight into where the music comes from. So I think it's even if you've got either a general interest in music itself from that period, or you know some of his singles and want to know more.
Yeah. And although we proudly talk about In a Streaming World at the top of our podcast, there is an audio companion to the HBO documentary, which is on streaming. It's 150 odd tracks, I think.
155 tracks, yeah.
And it's got some really great live versions, alternate versions, and historic things like Billy played on the day he signed to Columbia Records, and there's a couple of tracks from there on there. It's great. The documentary and the audio companion are both highly recommended.
And it would make a fantastic box set, wouldn't it? For Christmas.
It would, yeah. But Mikey would always want 2 more CDs in it, so
Yeah, and it on vinyl as well.
yeah.
He'd want all the remixes, wouldn't he?
Well, we picked The Stranger because it's Billy Joel's breakthrough album, really. Some of this is we've kind of gleaned from the documentary, but because his previous albums, I mean, Piano Man sold well for him, and then Turnstiles wasn't such a big seller at all.
He was close to being dropped, though. I mean, this was a misplaced childhood make-up break time, wasn't it?
He was, but he was frustrated, wasn't he? Because I don't know who produced Turnstiles, but they wouldn't let him use his band on the album. So he formulated his shit hot live band, and he wanted to use them on the record. But going completely against that, he started the sessions for The Stranger with another producer who wanted him to use Elton John's band, so Dee Murray and Nigel Olsson. So he went into the studio with them, and it didn't work out. I'd love to hear some of those tracks. They're not on the audio companion, but I'd love to hear what that sounded like.
Because you did see some of the video, didn't you? You saw some of the video of those sessions, but there was nothing really that was
Nothing on the
discernible.
audio, no,
Yeah.
no.
And then the next person to get lined up to potentially produce the album
Was
was
Phil
George.
Ramone.
No, it was George.
Well,
That was George Martin. George Martin, but it didn't happen. Yeah.
Because he wanted to replace the band with his session players.
Yes.
And Billy was like, take my band, or you get nothing. So, and he just walked away.
Well, that's why, according to the documentary, that's why he went for Phil Ramone, because Phil Ramone was really into the live band. And of course, the players in the live band felt more wanted, and it kind of fed into all.
And he was an in-house producer for Columbia as well, so
yeah, cheaper.
That helped.
Cheaper.
Yeah.
He's on budget, on target.
But yeah, it must have been a difficult time, I think, for Billy by then. He'd already been through a lot, as we've seen in the documentary, with the numerous bands he'd been in, and getting together with his best mate's wife, who then becomes his manager.
Well, the best mate becomes his manager, doesn't it? Like his brother.
Well, yeah, initially, and then his best mate's wife becomes his manager.
Yeah.
Which we may talk about again shortly when we come on to one of the songs on the album.
Yeah.
Or in fact, two of the songs on the album.
Two of the songs, yeah.
But the album itself starts with what was the first single. So the first single was released. Sorry, I'm scrolling while I'm talking. Was released in September 1977. So a couple of weeks before the album, and it was Moving Out, Anthony's song.
Now, there was a caveat there, because his missus had said, yes, it said that the record company can pick the first single, but she was picking the second single.
Well, she said her story was that they did a playback for the label,
record label, yeah,
and they liked the album, but they said there were no singles on it.
Yeah, we've heard that before.
Yeah.
And then look what happened.
Yeah.
So
they picked "Moving Out" as the first single. What do you make of "Moving Out," Craig?
It's an iconic Billy Joel song, isn't it? It really is. It's possibly one of the first songs of his that I was familiar with, because my introduction to Billy Joel came with Greatest Hits, Date 1 and 2. And it came in about 1987, because we used to do school trips to the France and Belgium World War I battlefield. And Maisie Rain, who was my history teacher, was an absolute massive Billy Joel fan. So Greatest Hits 1 and 2 and Innocent Man was two of the albums that you would hear for the whole 4 or 5 days being away. So that was my indoctrination into Billy Joel, and it stuck.
Yeah.
So Moving Out, yeah, it's classic track, and I've always enjoyed it.
Okay.
Most people know it, it's one of those things.
Yeah.
It's difficult with this album because there's so many songs that people.
Well, that's it. There are some
really
iconic Joel songs on this album, aren't there? But
also the fact as well, which is strange, because speaking of Greatest Hits 1 and 2, there's actually 6 songs from this album on that compilation.
Yeah.
Now, considering there's only, was it not even 10 tracks on the album?
The original.
6, 8. There's 9 tracks on the album, so 6 of them are actually on the compilation.
Yeah. Mikey, what do you make of Moving Out?
Just give you a tiny little bit of Billy Joel with me history, like Craig's just done there.
Yeah.
My introduction was Uptown Girl. As I've said in previous podcasts, I used to tape off Top of the Pops. So, Uptown Girl, Tell Her About It, Innocent Man. They were on my VHS tapes. I used to watch them all the time, loved it. When Stormfront came out, my interest had sort of come back round. What had gone on in between those two albums passed me by completely.
Because they weren't big in the UK.
Yeah.
Rich didn't hit the UK, really.
Well, exactly. But when Stormfront came out, I sort of like went backwards. That's when I discovered the Nylon Curtain, and I picked that album up because I liked the sleeve. um, and I thought it was absolutely amazing. It blew my mind. And so I kind of went back, but nothing really particularly hit me as strongly as what the Nylon Curtain did. Although, like Craig said, the Greatest Hits collection was very much something that we played a lot at that time. But one of my favorite songs of his was from 52nd Street, which was Until the Night, because I think that's got a very sort of like Phil
Great song,
Spector
yeah.
sound to it, which
Yeah.
always wins me over. But I didn't think we are going to do The Stranger that I actually knew much of it. If I was like, oh no, this one. Oh no, this one. Oh, and it was just memories flooding back, and it's amazing. And this was obviously one of them. I think it's got this sort of like Supertramp meets 10cc vibe to it. I love its kind of slow, funky groove that it's got going on. And as I have said in previous pods, saxophones are not my usual. Yay, saxophone in a record thing. And this record's obviously got it
There's
all
loads
over.
of it on here, yeah.
Loads of it. Loads
Yeah,
of it.
but there is not one point on this album where I think, saxophone. It
No.
works. It's part of its fabric, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really nice song. It's a really good single. What I didn't realize was though, because a lot of what I've heard of Billy Joel has been the singles or single versions. So I didn't actually realize there was like the sound of a car or a Corvette. I think is actually the case at the end of it because the
Yeah,
single
yeah.
version doesn't have that on.
No,
So I was
no.
like, wait, what's going on here? And I think it's used a really good effect because you've got this wonderful piano and drum outro going on with the car riffing going on, and it's
Yeah.
just so cleverly done. My only gripe is that I don't think it should have been track one on the album.
I agree
I
with you.
think
The
I think
Stranger
the
should be
next
track
track
one.
Yeah.
should be
Yeah.
track one,
Yeah.
which will be
Yeah,
called
I was-
Evidence.
Completely
Yeah.
agree with you.
But
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say on The Stranger. Yeah, definitely.
but from a record company, it was the first single point of view. It makes sense.
It was very much what you did back in the 70s, wasn't it? Singles
Yeah,
at the beginning.
very
of the
much
side.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a win-win for me. Love it.
Great. Great. Moving out.
It's brilliant. It's got a kind of funky groove to it. I think one of the things, if I'm remembering rightly, is rhythm section. This was the second album, I think, that Doug Stegmeyer and Liberty DeVito have been playing on, and I think they'd found themselves in a position where them and Billy clicked. And this is this for me. This is an example of that because there's a drive and a groove to it that locks that rhythm section in with his piano part and lets the rest of the song ride on it, and it's brilliant. It's a great song, but I think I agree it shouldn't have been the first song on the album because it just hits you. And I think the Stranger would have been a better way to start. I love the fact that it became the title song for a musical as well, a Broadway musical called Moving Out, and it was the song that was played. And so, you know, it's like it's obviously become part of the Frau. As a New Yorker, he's been absorbed by New York society, that kind of thing as well. So I think it's brilliant, and he is. You see it on documentary. He's violently New Yorker. He says, "I am and always will be a New Yorker, and that's how I sound." And you don't realize it, but I became aware of the album in '77. So my mum and my dad loved Christopher, Elton John, and Billy Joel. And at the time, all three were doing very similar types of story type lyrics and songs and long form things mixed in with ballads and all that kind of stuff. So we're talking pre-Innocent Man, pre-Lady in Red, and what am I going to say? Was it Too Low for Zero, maybe? I don't know, whichever one it was.
What, 77?
No, I'm talking you know, the albums that they did before they went really poppy and popular and tried to go with the times. All their stuff was, the three of them were all very much story song lyrics, as piano-led, different forms of piano-led, but piano-led music driven with story form lyrics that were based on experiences they had.
I think with Elton you'd go up to Blue Moves because then he goes off into his disco phase. You know,
Yeah, Blue Moves, yeah.
Wonky, yeah.
So I knew the songs, even though they weren't singles, some of the tracks. And then on the bus to school, we had a bus driver that had a radio blaring. So I'd always, when they were hits, you'd always hear them.
Mm.
You always hear the hits in the mornings and what have you. So although I was young-ish,
How old were you in 77?
7. I was
You were
7.
young
Yeah.
then, yeah.
Yeah, I was young. So it became, but I was that. So that year is the year I became aware of music and stuff.
Yeah.
That's the year that I started paying attention to things. So I started paying attention to what my mum and dad were listening to and like developing taste. And this was spun a lot.
Yeah, okay, cool. Well, while you've been talking, I've been reading up on Turnstiles, and what I've said so far has been absolute crock of shit, because the Elton John band stuff was for Turnstiles. It wasn't for The Stranger. So we try and be as factually correct as we can, and I'm correcting myself already in this episode.
Let's try to remember. I mean, for a 5-hour documentary, we're going to make mistakes, aren't we? Like because there was.
Yeah, it's nice to realise I made a mistake and put it right in the same episode, though.
Yeah.
I think moving out, like some of you said already, the difficulty about this album is it's got a lot of singles on it that are classic Joel tracks. Moving out, I mean, it's got the heart attack, that sort of clever trick to it. It's a great song. It's a great Billy Joel track. It's in the wrong place, as Mikey and Craig have said. The album should start with The Stranger and with the Stranger theme, which we'll talk about in a minute, because it ends with the Stranger theme, so it should start and end that way for me.
Yep.
But it's it's a good song, and it was a hit the second time they released it. So
Can I just say one of the things? So you picked up on the ack, and I love the fact that I may be wrong, but I think it was done naturally. They actually sang the ack.
Oh yeah, it's not
done by effects and all that.
Yeah.
Nowadays they would use effects to do that, but I love the fact it's sung that way. It's how they do it.
Well, he can do it live then, can't he? Trading
Yeah.
a Chevy for a Cadillac.
Even the parody on, where was it, Saturday Night Live, was it, or was it all the rip-offs and taking the piss out of them when he fell out of favour.
Yeah.
So it's
No, it's a great start. Track 2 is the title track, and it's The Stranger. Craig.
Yes, which has its infamous introduction whistle, and that, which was only a guide track originally, and Phil was like, nope, leave it as this, I like the whistle. He was trying to figure out what instrument to do it with. And with the way that it's done, with that Stranger theme at the start and the end of this song, and also it ends the album right at the backside one on the end of Everybody Has a Dream.
I don't. They use the coda twice, which I don't really agree with. I don't think this track should end with it.
I think they should leave
and
then the album.
Yeah. It's a bit odd ending with it, but to me, though, I mean, I know we'll get on talking about track lists and stuff like that, but I do think there's a couple of songs on here which are in the wrong place for the album. But that's I would move some stuff around. And I mean, I'll say straight. I'll shoot me load early. I do think "Scenes from an Italian Restaurant" should be the last track in the album, because I think it would fit as an end track because of it. Because I really don't think the way that some of the last half of the album works that well. But anyway, Stranger.
It's the end of side 1 of the record.
Yeah. But I think Stranger, it's never been a favorite of mine. It's all right. And I think that's also odd, because the Stranger theme in here doesn't really have anything to do with the song in the middle.
No, it just fades out and then the song comes in, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's got no relation to it. So essentially they could have done with those pieces of music as bookends. It could have essentially been used on any song.
Yeah.
And it could have been used better. But
it's probably the Stranger theme is probably a better hook than is in the song, I think.
Yes, definitely.
But yeah, Mikey, what do you make of the Stranger? Oh, sorry, have you finished?
Yeah, the only thing I was going to say, but again, this is one of the songs that is on Greatest Hits 1 and 2 as well.
Is it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, Mikey.
Well, I fucking love it. And the reason why it's on Greatest Hits 1 and 2 is because it was a single in Japan, Australia, and France.
Yeah.
There's a 4-minute 10 edit of it, which doesn't have the coda of the Stranger theme at the end of it.
But it
It's
does have the
just at the
beginning.
beginning.
Right.
Yeah, so it's just the fade out, which I think it works better. And I think, you know, we're kind of alluding to it, but I think it should have been left off this and it as it is. But that lovely sort of like, you know, lounge style piano at the beginning with the whistling over the top, it's wonderful, it's iconic. And I'm going to mention the 10cc thing again, but it's just, I think it's just the sound of the guitar, you know, da, 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 da. I think it's brilliant. And there's almost like, there's not, it's like a stop-starty sort of time signature thing going on with this track. It's almost jazz, but not quite. And the choruses, they're sung in a really sort of like weird, dissonant way with the female backing vocalist, I think. It's the don't be afraid to try again, everyone goes south every now and then.
Yeah.
It sounds really, really strange. And then that comes away, and then you're back into the rock and roll stuff. I think it's genius. I really do. My only problem with the fade out is I think it happens too fast, and then it's jarring when the theme comes back in.
Yeah.
It's a bit like, oh,
It's not a crossfade, really, is it? No.
No, not at all. I think it's a little bit jarring, and I think it's in there just because I don't think it lends anything to the song itself, but it doesn't spoil it in its entirety for me. I think it's a wonderful song. I really do. Brilliant.
Cool. Great.
I think if I was Billy Joel, I'd have shot Phil Ramone because can you imagine being forced to actually whistle the start of a song in a live show for the rest of your life?
Oh yeah, that'd be a nightmare.
It would be horrible. It's like,
Reminds me of Over My Shoulder by Michael Mechanics, and I'm never sure that they're really whistling that live either. But
yeah. But I mean, I totally get the 10cc thing with the guitar, but I also get it with the vocals. If you look at the verse structures and the way it's bitten off and the way that is it the second or third? Once I used to believe I was such a great romancer that I came home to a woman that I couldn't recognize, and the way all that's worked and stuff. It's like the delivery. It's got that. There's a Lounge Lizard start to the song, then it's that kind of jazz rock type stuff in the middle and stuff, but it's all done with pop sensibilities. It's really clever the way it all mixes together. I love the song. I think it's brilliant. I do get caught out still with the way the whistle starts and the whistle stops and then the song starts because there's a jarring difference between the two. But it's iconic, and it's iconic for a reason. It's a brilliant song.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said. I think the lyrics are really different on this. There's a particular line that really struck me. Did you ever let your lover see the stranger in yourself?
Yeah.
Real darkness in some of the lyrics. And it's about the flip side of the personality and shadow self and all of that sort of thing. But done in a really lightweight, poppy way. This is more like what came before for me. This isn't a radical departure for Joel, I don't think.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised it's on Greatest Hits, if I'm honest. But it's
sold 500,000 in Japan.
Well, you know, what can I say?
You know what I mean? If you're going to put something on Greatest Hits, you put something on that's sold 500,000 copies in one country.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, we're on to the first of, I would say, two big hitters on here. Track 3 is Just the Way You Are, Craig.
Now, this was his biggest hit so far at the time, wasn't it? This was what actually skyrocketed him into being an arena player.
Well, this was the second single, wasn't it?
It was the second single, yeah. It was the one that Elizabeth had picked over the record company. I mean, it's a song about her.
Yeah.
And I think he said in an interview that the melody for this had came to him in a dream one night. And he was so staunchly against this song being on the album because he reckoned it just sounded like a song that would be played at a wedding, and he had to be persuaded to actually put the song on the album.
Yeah, but he
'Cause
was persuaded by Emmylou Harris.
the two people who came into the studio, they said, is
Oh, was
Linda
it Linda
Ronstadt.
Ronstadt? Linda Ronstadt.
Yeah.
Linda Ronstadt,
Linda
yeah.
Ronstadt and Phoebe Snow heard it, and they're the ones who basically kind of give him the
Yeah,
good old nudge
yeah.
to say it was like, yeah, definitely. But what can you say about this song? I mean, it's really it's a classic tune. I mean, all right, you can say now, nearly 50 years later, it sounds a bit lift music. And if you're being quite harsh against it, if you're coming to it with like 20-25 ears and
I was
knowing what the singers
surprised by the studio version because I'd listened to it live more than anything else.
it's got more of a bite, the live version.
It's well, I think the intro with the Fender Rhodes on the studio version is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Just the Fender Rhodes and Billy's voice for the first couple of lines. It's just wonderful.
It just draws you straight in.
Yeah.
But one of the things that was funny when Phil Ramone was trying to explain to his drummer how to play it, what he actually wanted, Liberty DeVito. He says he wanted to imagine a backward samba, and Liberty was like, "What's a samba?"
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah, I can't ever recall. I can't ever recall seeing Liberty DeVito using brushes on any other song.
Just give him a couple of hammers, you know what I mean?
Yeah. He comes from the Bev Bevan school of drumming, doesn't
he? Really is. But it's an iconic song, isn't it? I mean, everybody knows it, unless you've been living under a rock for nearly the last 50 years.
Yeah. Mikey.
It's another one of those ones that you're never going to forget from the moment you hear it. And this was one of those that I was so glad this was on the album because I knew what I was going to be getting. I'm just going off what you were saying there about the song might not be going on the album. Wasn't it the producer that said there was nothing else kind of there anyway? So
Phil Ramone's got quotes that both back that up and debunk it. So
yeah. But the single version that I'm more aware of is a good minute shorter because the second verse and chorus are completely removed. So the don't go trying some new fashion, don't go changing the colour of your hair. That's not in the single in it. So I was getting used to a broader aspect of the song, which I was like, I'm actually enjoying this far more than the single version that I'm used to. But it's 3 minutes, 3 minutes 30, I think the single version is. It was perfect for radio at the time. A 4 minute 30 song was never going to get played. So I think it was just the right song at the right time that actually saved his ass, I think, saved his career. So at that point, or certainly with the Redwood label anyway. But yeah, John, you're right. I mean, that Fender Rhodes piano is what makes it, I think.
It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous.
And I was watching an old Grey Whistle test on YouTube today.
Yeah.
And I think he did that. Only the Good, A Woman, and Moving Out. And they were all fantastic live, but so close to the studio recording. And I'm thinking, that's because the studio recording sounds almost live. It's so tight and well produced.
Well, that's the benefit of him using his live band, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. It was like, oh, and watch it, and like you're mentioning all the attack acts from the first song, and it's like you can see them performing it live. It's not some effects on a twiddly knob back in them days, you know. It was really good. Anyway, I'm digressing. Again, I know it's actually been alluded to, but here we go, third song in, and 10cc is going to be mentioned again. Those breathy vocals in the background.
Well, I've got that because it uses exactly the same keyboard sound as I'm Not in Love at the end, doesn't it?
Yep.
Exactly the same.
Yeah. And of course, that came 2 years prior to this.
Yeah.
So maybe when he was having that dream, Craig, he had the radio on. 10 cc's, I'm Not in Love was playing. But no, I think it's wonderful. I'm not entirely sure that it fits on this side of the album. I'm not sure it flows very well after the first two songs.
I think
But
there's something in what Craig said earlier. Side 2 does drop off a bit towards the end, and maybe a bit
does
of
a little. It does a little. I think that
Yeah.
would have lifted up side 2 a bit more.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it's fantastic.
Okay, great.
There's not a lot you can say about it that hasn't been said already, really, is it? I mean, it's one of those classic standard songs that everybody knows, everybody considers it as a beautiful song. And for good reason. And there's people talked about the I'm Not in Love 10cc and all that kind of stuff, but I wasn't aware of the Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons link. The fact that as part of his dream that he'd had, it was that lyric from the song from Ragdoll, which for me kind of answers one of the reasons why I like it so much, because one of the albums my dad played to death when I was younger was Once Upon a Time by Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, one of the greatest hit songs. And I'm obsessed with that album and some of the other Frankie Valli stuff. So to me, that's probably why that album, this song sticks out, because it has that feel about it, and probably why I like Innocent Man as well. But I love the song. There's not a lot I can't say anything bad about it, certainly, but although it's so well known, it's definitely not my favourite song on the album.
No, it's not mine, and that will become apparent in a minute when three of us disagree with Craig. But it is a lounge song in a lot of in a lot of versions, but not on this version. I don't think it's.
I think the perception of it over the years is it's become lift music.
Yeah, but I didn't feel that listening to it today. I think it's a really, really simple arrangement broken into three parts. You've got the intro on the roads, then Liberty comes in on the brushes with an acoustic guitar playing as well. And then you just build up to that sax solo by Phil Woods, which is just absolutely iconic.
And I have to say, your point there about the simplicity and clarity of that intro with just the voice and the Rhodes piano, it immediately just draws you in. No matter what you're doing, when you hear that, you are going to focus on what you're hearing. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, brilliant, but not quite as good as track 4, Craig.
But it did win 2 Grammys.
Well, that's not bad, is it? That
that's not bad for a single, is it?
No. Track 4, Craig. Scenes from an Italian restaurant. Do your worst.
Don't do me worst. You think I'm gonna have a go?
He's going to use the word prog, isn't he?
Yeah, of course he is.
I'm not even gonna mention
You are.
the P word. I'm
You
not
are.
even gonna mention the P word at all. I've got no need to mention the ROG word at all. Because I mean you've got a song here that is 7.5 minutes. It's 3 tracks or 3 unused tracks stitched together to make an epic. That word that I'm not allowed to use.
We all know a band that does that, don't we?
We all know a band who does that.
3 tracks, but it's in 5 sections.
Yes, it is, because you've got you've got your calls and stuff
Yeah.
like that. It is, like we've said about albums recently, it is a very cinematic piece. It's one of Joel's story songs, and it's funny because I not particularly now. Before, I mean, I say you've got a misconception that I dislike the song. I do not dislike the
I've
song.
got a text from you today that says that.
It doesn't say that, though. I didn't say I disliked it. You just said that it was the best thing since sliced bread, and I just went, nope. There's a difference. But it's like there's a couple of songs by the Joel Meister that I just think have been overvalued. This is one of them. I say I've got nothing against the song. I do like it. I do, and I think it's great storytelling. But I mean, I'll say it now. One of my least favorite Billy Joel songs for all time is one of his most covered songs, and that's New York State of Mind. I really don't like that song. It just personal taste. Yeah, I got none. There you go. That's fine.
Yeah, both of you.
Yeah,
We had this discussion earlier, didn't we?
Yeah, fine. But yeah, and I love the story of it. I think it tells tells the tale of a couple who peaked too young in life and overstretched themselves and ended up back where they started from. But you can never go home. But no, and it's a piece of music. I mean, especially the opening, bottle of red, bottle of white, and that's that's just
Well, it's
yeah,
white and
the
red,
music,
but I'll let you.
white and red, yeah, but whichever way when you want to do it, and rosy instead, whichever. But
Well,
yeah, it is Joel classic, and it's stayed in his set list all the way through to this day.
Okay.
But I say I've not got the love of it that you lot have, but
Okay.
I do like it.
Mikey, what do you make of it?
Cracks knuckles. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And I'm going to say the obvious thing, which is Beatles Abbey Road, because
Yeah.
I think that it's been alluded to that he wanted to do something like that, but I only read that after I wrote the notes down about that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think the opening sounds like Neil Diamond. It could be lifted from the jazz singer. I think it's
Yeah.
I think it's gorgeous, and they've got this sort of like orchestra that comes sweeping in, and it just builds and it builds, and then you've got these drums that are kind of going dum 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 dum, and you think it's gonna just keep going, then it just flash stop. At 1 minute 45, it goes off onto this jazz rock fusion tangent,
Dixieland
which is the
section.
bit that which is the bit that I think sounds the most Abbey Roady. There's some wonderful clarinet work in there. There's like a marching band kind of feel to it. I just think it's pure genius. And then just as you're getting used to that, at about 2 minutes 50, this piano solo comes in, and you get this seismic shift into the full Brenda and Eddie's, history and life,
Yeah.
which to me, if if you've listened to the Beautiful South's work, I think that Paul Heaton was heavily inspired by the way that the lyrics are delivered in this song. There's a few Beautiful South songs out where the lyrics are delivered so fast and are so condensed into such a short space of time that I think you've definitely heard this song before, mate. When Paul Heaton does his big story songs about a character or about a couple of characters, I just thought I've heard this before. I've heard this before, and this has it in spades. I don't know how Billy wrote all this stuff down and fashioned it into this song, but it just paints a picture, doesn't it? You just carried along on this whole Brenda and Eddie story, and I just think it's wonderful. I think it's brilliant. And then about 4.5 minutes in, you get this massive sax solo, which is rip roaring. It absolutely kicks butt. And then you've got that for another minute and a half, and at the 6 minute point, you've got this massive orchestral breakdown, and then you're back to the refrain from the start. You've got the Neil Diamond thing coming back in at 6 minutes 30. I think this is absolute pure genius. I really, really do. This to me is side two of Abbey Road. It's all over the place. Yeah, it's meshed and it works. All the sections of this feel right.
Yeah.
They are quite different, but it works as a whole. I just think I know I'll have heard this before, but the revelation of sitting down and actually listening to it.
This is
was
the song
something
that got
else.
me into Billy Joel.
Yeah.
I saw this on a BBC in concert, and this particular song absolutely floored me. And this is what
Yeah.
drew me into Billy Joel.
Yeah, and I only found out today that there was a animated video done 3 years ago for this song, and that in itself is a piece of art and is wonderful and it works
Yeah,
so
it's
well.
really nicely
So
done.
yeah, so if you've not seen it, head off to Billy Joel's YouTube channel. It's on there. It is fantastic, and it solidifies the story. You can just see everything being played out. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Do you think, though,
Absolute
Mikey,
genius.
that this would actually be a good album closer? Not just the
No,
end of side one, but I
no,
think
no,
it's an album closer.
no. I think The Stranger does that, but it could have done it better.
Everybody Has a Dream wouldn't work anywhere else, I don't think.
Yeah,
Despite what I've said.
I think Everybody Has a Dream needs to be the last song on the album, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
But no. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. Either a closing of side one or an opening of side two was what this needed to be. And I think it's perfect where it was.
Okay. Graham.
I'm not sure we need to say anything else, do I?
If you do you agree with it? You've had two different.
Oh, I totally agree with it. Absolutely agree with it. And I think so. Something that was touched on for the last track about how it feels when they were playing, and something, and I'm sure it was commented on in the documentary when they were recording this album. They did record live as a band. That the main tracks. Obviously, they did all the overdubs. They did the orchestral sessions and the strings and bits and bobs. But the root tracks, the core tracks, were recorded live as a band, and you can tell that there's a vibe that's going on. We talked about it on the Tears for Fears album, where you could tell that there was a to-in and fro-in when they were doing that jam, and you can feel the movement in the room, and this is a perfect example of that. It's just got a great when it builds and it does that sort of.
It's the most live sounding track on the album.
Yeah. And
apparently it was recorded in one pass. He did 7 takes of it.
7 takes of it, yeah. Can you imagine? I mean, I don't even know how you could do it, really.
That's mad. Absolutely mad.
But it was Phil Ramone that suggested putting these 3 songs together.
Yeah. Yeah. And was it Peter Gambaccini, so Paul's brother, that called, what was it he called it? A careful and considerate juxtaposition of different musical idioms, which is the other way. It's like, but it shows for me, although it says scenes from an Italian restaurant, it's like sitting watching New York go by. So it's all the different things that you would see and hear and feel in New York, rather than just. It's not the restaurant that's important; it's what's going on and the life that passes through it, and it's amazing. It really is amazing. It's not the song that got me into Billy Joel. I think that was probably Just the Way You Are, because it was so big and it made me pay. At that age, it was like, who is this? Because my mum and dad liked it. But once I was old enough to appreciate long form stuff and listen to lyrics more about, I'm a sucker for a lyricist. I don't care if they can sing particularly well. I'm a sucker for a lyricist. It's about the ability to tell a story, because for me, that's far more powerful than being operatically able to sing or being like sort of pitch perfect. If you can tell a story with an emotion that brings people in, and that's what he does in spades on this. I love it. I love that kind of storytelling aspect of it.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you guys have said, even some of what Craig said. For me, this is I love the way that at the beginning it's Billy talking to his partner or to you in a restaurant, and then it's almost like you're catching up on the gossip, Brenda and Eddie, and what went on with them. And then at the end, it ties it all back in, and he's back at the restaurant with you. I'll meet you anytime you want in our Italian restaurant.
Yeah,
it's just amazing. It really is.
But the framing of it, it'd be funny with that framing on either side. You could actually, it's like some soundtracks. You could actually have a few different songs in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And still have the framework of at the beginning and the end.
But yeah, I mean, there's some great lyrics. As Mikey says, the Brenda and Eddie section is delivered at breakneck speed. The lyrics, but the King and the Queen went back to the green, but you can never go back there again. It's just brilliant.
He's building up to singing Fast and We Didn't Start the Fires. What he's doing. he's getting the run up.
What album's that on, Craig?
I haven't got a clue.
You're gonna say it.
I'm saying nothing.
Oh, you are.
Yeah. Sorry,
Okay.
Sorry, before we go on, so there's something I haven't picked up on previously. So see musically and the playing live, and we said about 10cc influences and what have you. Am I right in thinking that there's more than one of the musicians in this band that were played with Steely Dan or were part of Steely Dan?
I don't know. Who are you talking about?
So Hugh McCracken played with Steely Dan. I know that much, but was there not? I'm sure there was. The guitarists.
Well, there's quite a few different guitarists on this album. That's the only role that isn't tied down to a band member, I think.
Is there like five or six different guitarists on
So I
this
think there's
album?
3 guitarists plus so, but yeah. So Steve Kahn,
Yeah.
Steve
Right,
Kahn,
oh.
and Hugh McCracken both played with Steely Dan. Yeah, that's
Right. Okay.
and I think that as well as having the tight rhythm section, I think having people that have played together elsewhere and coming into this is it gives them that freedom to play live because they know each other, so they can look at each other and get the vibe rather than follow something. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, Doug Stegmeyer's bass. I mean, Liberty's just phenomenal on this, but Doug Stegmeyer's bass is just amazing. Some of the stuff I got it in my notes. I didn't say it, but on The Stranger, some of the bass stuff he plays on there is it's absolutely
Mind-blowing.
outstanding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, shall we turn the record over?
Oof.
Side 2, track 1
Can't do that with me streaming record. I'll try. Hold on, turn my phone upside down.
is Vienna. Craig.
For me, it's a bit of a mid-level Joel track. The odd thing is this, even though I don't play The Stranger very often as an album, and it's not on Greatest Hits 1 and 2, it is quite a often played live track. So I'm more familiar with live versions of it from albums, and so I'm more used to listening to a live version of it than the studio version of it. And again, it's one of these story ones, and it's based on a trip that he had with his dad to Vienna, and just watching, sitting outside at the cafes and watching life go by, but at a different pace and with a different sensibility. Coming from New York, everything's a bit in your face and everybody's driven and everything like that. Where he was watching a European, not exactly laissez-faire, but people proud of their jobs, being a street cleaner, or proud of the job serving in a restaurant and stuff. There's no ambition, was a lot different, and he's not used to seeing life at that pace. So he wrote a song about it. And
Okay.
it's a nice tune. I like the accordion and stuff like it, which kind of it matches back with scenes from an Italian restaurant as well, with the accordion and it.
Yeah.
But see, I do like this, like live versions. I'm used to live versions of this track.
Okay. Mikey.
Going back to our last podcast, it certainly knocks spots off Verona, doesn't it? Would rather listen to Vienna than Verona. It's a bit of a sort of like a middling track for me, this one.
Yeah.
I think I wished side 2 had kicked off with a bit more oomph, or had it been Just the Way You Are that started side 2, maybe that would have fitted better. But I do like the swing jazz kind of going into pop rock fusion. It's a weird mix, and it sounds like it's quite a simplistic track, but the more you listen to it, it's got more depth to it than what it actually probably does on first listen. The accordion part at about 2 minutes in, I actually really, really like. It does lend itself to that European feel.
Yeah.
And, it sounds a bit trite, but if you sit and listening to it, you can picture yourself, in Europe. And I think he's shift from that New York style to a European style is very evident on this track. But yeah, it's still a Billy Joel track. He's not pretending it's anything different. I just think it sounds a bit different to everything else on the album. Don't dislike it, but I think it's a bit middling for me.
Okay. Great.
For me, this is only topped by Italian Restaurant for me on the album. There's something about the way the lyrics are written in this that it's so heartfelt, and it's like trying to talk to yourself, an older self talking to your younger self, saying, "Look, just calm down. It'll be all right. Don't rush it. It's going to come. If you rush it, you're going to miss it." Was this written before or after? Because obviously he got the phone call about his dad. They found his dad in Vienna, didn't they? if you've watched the documentary when they say, "Oh yeah, we found your dad. Where is he? Oh, he's in Vienna." Was this written before or after that? Because he went to Vienna to see his dad. Is that when he wrote this song?
Yes.
Right.
Think so.
Okay. And I think that
think
shows
so.
it's a case of, because it's the complete juxtaposition of the rock star life, all that kind of stuff, and then seeing the calm, exactly as you were saying, the calm life, but also where music is, because obviously when he was very young, he was playing the Bach and the Beethoven and doing all the piano pieces and what have you. So he's harking back to a younger life that was a happier place, and I think it shows in the way it's written in the lyrics. I think the only thing on this album that tops it for me is Italian Restaurant, because it's so heartfelt.
Yeah, I think that as Maggie says, it's a simple arrangement, but it benefits from that. The lyrics are about, for me, are about reflecting that don't do everything in your 20s and 30s. Life goes on. Vienna waits for you. You'll be, when you're older, there's a place for you. And I think that reflective lyric really suits the laid back approach and the simple keyboards on it. It's not something that I would particularly pick out. I think for me, the main hook of it is the line "Vienna waits for you," and the way he sings it. But it is probably one of the highlights of side 2 for me. I can't really add much more to what you've said. It's a lovely song. The second track on side 2 is "Only the Good Die Young," Craig.
This is a corker. I've always loved this song. It's got a great upbeat vibe to it. To me, this is where John's going to put lots of faces and go ick. This is his almost like trial run for what he did on Innocent Man album. This one's yeah, but yeah, it's got a 50s and 60s feel to it, with
like a skiffle.
It's got 50s and 60s feel to it with a 70s sensibility. So it's him looking back to when he was younger and the rockabilly, not rockabilly, but the rocky kind of stuff back then. And it's also one of the things that he thought was hilarious, because it'd be the Catholic schools were banning it because of the Catholic girl references in there, and it helped make it a hit. So he wrote a letter to the diocese of the church that to go, please can you ban me next single?
Yeah.
I want to make a hit out of it. But no, I've always loved this song, and it's great fun. Great fun.
Mikey,
this was one of the ones that I thought that I didn't know, and then when you listen to it, you go, "Oh yeah, it's that."
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Again, it's another one that starts off with a very gentle piano and then just goes off in a completely different direction, which and it's I can't quite put my finger on it. It's almost like a shuffle beat to it.
Yeah.
But it's almost like a reggae vibe. I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that he almost did like a full reggae version of it.
I'm glad he didn't.
If they put more trumpets into it, it would have gone reggae-wise, yeah.
The reggae version's in the box set.
Oh right, okay.
Is it?
Yeah. So in is it My Lives?
Oh right, yeah.
And it's much slower, but it's reggae.
We'll have to pull that out. Oh, John, are you going to pull your copy of My Lives out? Are you?
No, I sold it. I sold it. I also aren't showing you my deluxe copy of The Stranger either, because I think I've sold that. Yeah.
I can show you my copy of My Lives if you want.
Yeah, go on then. Dust it off.
I can go and get it. I know where it is.
No, boys. Right. Anyway, this was a single in the US, as Craig mentioned, and I think quite rightly so. I think it's as catchy as hell.
Yeah. It was the last single, wasn't it? From
again, there's another. Yeah. There's another bit of amazing saxophone work, which is really uplifting in the track, which is weird because the lyrics are a little bit it's not like a jolly song, is it? You know, it's kind of a guy basically trying to say to somebody, "You're going to put out or what?" And I don't know. I'm not sure that sort of song would be. You would get away with it in 2025 if people read into it too much. But no, I think this is great. It's definitely up there. It. I think the problem is it's very much an album of two halves, and the second side of the album is a little bit lacking in certain areas. But this, I think, gives it the lift that it needs.
Yeah. Cool. Great.
I think Mikey's dead right. I've been listening to a lot of older stuff for the last few weeks. So a lot of 70s rock, a lot of 70s piano rock, classic rock stuff. And I've caught myself on so many occasions going, holy shit, you couldn't sing that nowadays, or you couldn't write that nowadays and not get lambasted for it. And I mean, if you look at the page on Wikipedia for the single, in 2023, Joel said of the song, "It's occurred to me recently that I'm trying to talk some poor innocent woman into losing her virginity because of my lust. It's kind of a selfish song, like who cares what happens to you? What about what I want?" And then he goes, "But on the other hand, it was of its time and it was in the mid-70s and I was trying to seduce girls, so what the hell?" So it's like, it's very much of its time. But yeah, I can understand why it was an American single, because it's very much that American rock and roll shuffle style thing that has never gone out of popularity in the States. You could write a single like that nowadays and middle America would buy it in droves.
Yeah.
It's good, it's funny, it's a good story. I really love the song, but maybe that's because I'm of a certain age as well. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And more sax.
Yeah, definitely. It's great. It probably could do with being maybe swapped with Get It Right First Time or something on this
Yes.
side to sort of move some of the better tracks, spread them across the side, because it's, Vienna, Only Good Die Young, and She's Always a Woman are the first three tracks on this side, and it's all a bit top heavy again, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's great. It's a skiffle for me. What can you say? Fantastic song. I think most people will know it. It the lyric, I don't have as much issue with it, because you're talking about a time, I mean, 77, 78, you're talking about Greece was around at that time. So all those sort of retro 50s type lyrics were around, weren't they?
Like, listen to the Whitesnake albums in the mid-70s, right? And
Yeah,
then tell
that's
me
a
that
whole different,
that's a bad lyric. Okay.
Dave Coverdale's a whole different kettle of fish. Come and get it and all that, yeah. Slide
Yeah.
it in, yeah, etc.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
Track
Well,
3 on side 2 is She's Always a Woman.
another
Great.
iconic Jewel track. That another one about his wife, but isn't this one basically about a commentary on his wife and the like her being in business, and the something like it could be like persecuted or insulted or just looked down to as well.
Yeah,
uh,
I
I
think
mean,
it's,
some of the yeah, some of the lyrics now, just what you talked about the last song, some of it now, lyrically just doesn't. It's a bit like
I don't think so. I think for me, because she was his manager, he sees both sides of her. He sees her be
yeah,
playing hardball,
yeah,
and then you've got lyrics like "She steals like a thief, but she's always a woman to me." And I think
yeah,
that's the juxtaposition for me.
yeah. That's it. The whole point of the juxtapositions and stuff like that. But I mean, even now with the modern sensibility, do you think does it come across as sexist a bit? I don't know. Being an old middle-aged man, but it's an iconic tune,
Yeah,
and it's something that yeah, It's never been one of my favourite Joel tracks, but I would never skip it.
Okay.
Gray, you're looking deep in thought there.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let Mikey go and then I'll talk.
um, again, another one of the Billy iconic Great American songs, isn't it? I think if there's going to be a song that people say, "Oh, Billy Joel's the American Elton John," this would probably be one of them. I think if like very early Elton, I think you can kind of go, yeah, I can see the similarities. I think that's where it begins and ends for me. I think the two guys are miles apart in a lot of respects. I think this sounds more John Denver, to be completely honest with you, than anything else. I think the piano and acoustic guitar work on it is beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and the lyrics just roll across the music. It just seems effortless and it flows and it's almost like a lullaby. It's really really lush, but at the same time it's quite a sparse arrangement. But again, a bit like Vienna, it lends itself to the song that it is. Um, there's a lot of minor chords going on in the song as well, which kind of underpins the seriousness of the lyrics that's going on. Um, I think it's wonderful. Um, again, another single. It was a single in Japan and America, and quite rightly so. It's a folk song, but it's a Billy Joel folk song. I think it's great. I really do.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so the choruses are in minor and the verses are in major, which I find really weird because the song sounds kind of melancholic because he's been bemoaning the failures and the bad bits as well as the good bits.
I don't think they are failures and bad bits.
No. But so he's talking about she does this, but she's still a woman. She does this, but I still love her. So it's like it's counterpoint and balance. So the verses are all in major key, but then when you move to the chorus, it's in the relative minor to that key. And it's really weird how it plays off the two. I mean, the lyrics are fantastic. She takes care of herself. She can wait if she wants. She's ahead of her time. And she never gives out and she never gives in. She just changes her mind. You know what I mean? It's like, they're clever lyrics. They are really good, but you can also tell that they're heartfelt because they're about somebody that he feels that strongly about, that he can say these type of things.
Yeah.
It's on a par with Vienna and bettered only, as I say, only by Italian Restaurant. I think it's amazing. And again, it's in 6/8, so it's not in a normal kind of pop type thing. There's a difference to it, so it draws the ear in. It's brilliant.
I agree. It is brilliant, but the lyrics for me are something different. I think they are talking about the complexities of the woman that he loves, and they're not weaknesses. He sees her as his manager. He sees what she does there, and then when they're alone together, she's always a woman to him.
I take that point.
That's how I see it. It's the light and the darkness in the lyric. If you don't really pay attention to it and just listen to the chorus, it's just a love song. But it isn't. The lyrics that you quoted there. The last verse is, she's frequently kind and she's suddenly cruel. She can do what she pleases. She's nobody's fool. She can't be convicted. She's earned her degree. The most she will do is throw shadows at you, but she's always a woman to me.
Yeah.
Absolute genius. Moving on. Track 4 on side 2 is Get It Right First Time. Craig?
I am not a fan of this song.
Okay.
The opening riff of it. Now, Mikey, you're going to go, oh, for fuck's sake. The opening riff of it reminds me of the scene in Glenn Larson's 1979 movie that became the TV series Buck Rogers in the 25th Century.
I've put it starts like a 70s cop show theme.
Where Buck Rogers
Yeah.
in the 25th century, he does a dance in the 25th century with Princess Ardala, and it's got this cheesy kind of bow, 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 and it just sounds like the start of this. So,
He has to get it in, folks. I don't know.
and it just that's where it starts, and then the jazz flute comes in, and all I'm thinking is just Ron Burgundy and Anchorman.
It's not that bad.
Oh, it's here. It's like it's got like a calypso kind of beat to go with it. And then by the end of it, I'm thinking of Margarita Prakatan from Clive James. So yeah,
It's fairly safe to say Greg's not a fan of this track.
I'm just entertained just where it was just going in my head with it. That was all.
Okay.
But, yeah, not a fan of it, but it's just very of its time, and I just don't think it's aged very well.
Okay. Mikey?
Okay. I really like this. Even though I think it sounds probably the most dated out of all of the album. But I love it for that reason. I get the cop show feel at the start.
Yeah.
The thing that I wrote down when it comes to the la 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 la
Think
la
you wonder
la
how-
las, I wrote down
Pakatan.
love. No, I wrote down love boat.
Yeah.
And I actually love the flute bits. I think it's great. I think the problem is with this track is it's overshadowed by the rest of the album.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
And also where it is on the album doesn't help it, does it?
Yeah. I think
It should have opened side
is-
too.
Yeah, I mean, even the sort. I don't. I'm going to use the word bossa nova. I don't even know if that's right, but it does have that shaky maracas kind of thing going on. I think
Pakatan.
it's.
Shut up, saying Pakatan.
I love you, Clive James. Yeah, there was one thing I was going to mention about the lyrics. There's a line in it which says, "I'm not much good at conversation," which I think is really interesting because in Just the Way You Are, he uses a line, "I don't want clever conversation." It's almost like Billy Joel's kind of admitting to whoever he's singing the song to, "I'm not a man of words, I'm a man of actions and feeling."
But he is though.
Yeah. So I think it's
I
strange
think he
that
means-
he can say it in a song, but he's as wordy as it comes in the songs.
Yeah.
But if he's actually having an actual conversation with another real person, he just clams up. And I think the fact that it's mentioned twice in two different songs, I think is quite a clever little link. Whether that's accidental or on purpose, I'm not entirely sure. But I don't think this song's as bad as what Craig's making it out to be.
No.
I think it's fun. Yes, it sounds a little bit dated, but I love it all for that. Really do. I think it's great.
Okay. Great.
So I think he's quite upfront about the fact that he doesn't consider himself to be a clever lyricist. He considers himself as somebody who tells it like it is. The fact that the way he tells it like it is absolutely brilliant to us is by the by. But he says he doesn't hide things. He's basically he tells the stories as he sees it. So maybe that's why he said, "I'm not a clever conversation," because he doesn't try to hide things. It's a bossa nova, by the way. The groove that you're talking about is the groove for the song, and it's extremely 70s TV. I love it. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I think the groove's fantastic. I think they should have opened side two because I think it would have given a completely different feel to the side rather than the way it did. It's kind of a throwaway track. It's weird. There's a lot to it. There's a lot going on. If you listen to the rhythm of the drums, you listen to the bits and bobs, the flute part and all that kind of stuff. And the lyrics it's one of these things that he does, that kind of fast lyric style thing and tells a story quickly. But it just feels light compared to a lot of the other stuff on the album, even though it's quite complex.
Yeah.
I like it, but it's not up there with the best of the album.
No, I agree with you. I mean, I can't get over that. It does sound like Stevie Wonder for me. Something like um, Songs in the Key of Life,
Songs of Key of Life, yeah.
or something like that. La 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 la. All of that. I really get Stevie Wonder vibes from that. And I want to put a caveat on the 70s Cop Show. It's just the intro to the track that sounds like that, not all the rest.
Yes, it's not the right. It's the early part of it. Yeah.
I think you're right. If we'd moved it further forward in the album, I might like it more. This is where the album tails off for me. This and Everybody Has a Dream aren't as strong as what came before, I don't think, unfortunately. Which brings us on to track 5, Craig. Everybody Has a Dream.
Yeah, it's not a strong track at all. It's gospel choir-tastic. It's the in it, even these vocals, because they sound different on this because they've recorded different. They've got the kind of the church kind of echo to them, and
Bit of
it's got
reverb.
yeah, it's got a different. This song's got a different feel to the rest of the album, and
Yeah.
I don't think it necessarily fits with the thematically and that musically with the rest of the album. Um, a bit of Hammond organ, and it's not massively uh memorable. And I mean it's 6 minutes odd, but it's actually only take 4.5 minutes
It's
before it
4, because that
fades
6
out.
minutes
Yeah,
includes the Stranger.
yeah, fades out and then fades back into the Stranger theme,
Yeah.
which doesn't. I mean, I get it as an album closer, but it doesn't really fit with this track.
You would have indexed it separately, wouldn't you? You would have put the
Yes,
outros as a separate track. Yeah.
yeah, but it isn't. And it's not a track that I'm particularly familiar with in any case. It's not one I've gone back to a lot, so I've not actually heard it a lot over the years.
No.
But
Okay.
no, it's a bit of an uninspiring closer for me.
All right, Mikey.
Well, I have to wholeheartedly disagree. Um, if you imagine the Stranger album as a movie, this is the song that will play as the end credits roll. I think it sums everything up and just offers an addition to the musical diversity that the album has been. It's like the gospel work, I think, sounds absolutely wonderful, and it's got this build to it that just soars as the track goes on. I agree with what Craig said about the vocal recording, though, because had you played me this song cold 2 weeks ago, say, and said, "Listen to this. Who do you think it is?" I wouldn't have been able to say that's Billy Joel. It's almost, and I'm not saying it sounds like him, but the delivery and the style of the song's almost Ray Charles-ish to me.
Yeah. See that,
Um,
yeah.
I just think it's really, really, it's just a lovely ending to the album. And if you just imagine those credits finishing, you've got the filmed in Technicolor words at the end, and it fades out, and then you've got an end credit scene, which is the Stranger refrain. So you hear the guy walking down the street whistling, and that's the end. I think the way the album ends is absolutely top notch. I really do. But that'd be me.
Yeah. Gray?
I'm going to disagree again. So I find it really. I find the lyrics in this. I find this song quite jarring because the rest of the songs in the album, even the ones that aren't fully positive, have a positive attitude to them. So if you take "She's Always a Woman," exactly as you were saying, John, he highlights things that perhaps he doesn't like, but he accepts it because it's her, and he accepts it's the whole package. It's what he like. You look at Just the Way You Are. It's like accepting things. You don't change, do this, don't that. And then in this song, he is doubting absolutely everything. He's doubting himself. He's doubting his ability. He's doubting, and it really jars. I also don't like the composition of the song. For me, it doesn't sit well with the rest of the album. There's something about it for me that just it falls flat, which is surprising because I like songs with choirs in them and all that kind of like flamboyant stuff. But I just feel, it's like, what is it? It says, while in these days of quiet desperation, as I wander through the world in which I live, I search everywhere for new inspiration, but it's more than cold reality can give, which is completely different to everything else in the song. Everything else in the album, everything else in the album, there's questions, but he gets a positive answer. This one doesn't.
Well, yeah, but the chorus is, I know that everybody has a dream, and this is my dream, my own, just to be at home and to be all alone with you. That's positive.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I don't feel it from the song.
No,
I don't know
I mean, all the ingredients are there, aren't they, for a
Yeah.
big album closer? It just, if you
It falls flat.
you put this next to The Last Resort on Hotel California,
Yeah.
well, there's no contest.
There's no comparison,
it's
is there?
not the big finish that it should be.
Yeah.
It's nice. It falls into the category of the last track. It's not up to the standard of some of the rest of the album.
Yep.
Which is a real shame. But the album did what Billy needed, didn't it? The singles
Oh God, yeah.
pushed it.
Well, yeah, the way that
to another
Billy
level.
the way that Billy actually explained the album when it came out in one of the interviews, he says it's got hard rock, it's got soft rock, it's got love, it's got sadomasochism, and it's got food.
Yeah. Well, that was that not an advert? Because there's a video of him saying that.
Yeah, that's it.
Piano.
He's saying that on the piano.
Yeah. It's a great record, and I'm sorry that we've ended on that negative note, because there's a lot of fantastic stuff on this record.
It is. I mean, you look at this is the album that made him a superstar. Really, it was this is his album that went from playing theaters into playing stadiums pretty much, and you've got to appreciate it and love it for what it is. I mean, very well it is nowhere near my favorite Billy Joel album.
What would that be, Craig?
Yeah, I've never mentioned that so far.
Oh, but that awful album.
Stormfront has always been my favorite Billy Joel album, head and shoulders by far.
So do you not think this album suffers from, in the 70s in particular, I think single records, the singles that were the hits, and we said this right at the start, they were always front loaded.
Yeah.
On the album. And unless you had really, really good deep cuts, stuff that was either too long or whatever, that they wouldn't release it as a single or whatever, that was doing the back end, you would get a tail off in the album.
Well, actually, just listening to you say that, I'm thinking it depends on how much sway you've got with the record company, because Elton's early 70s albums weren't single loaded at the front. If you take Yellow Brick Road.
But he had full control by that point, didn't he?
Exactly. He had more say. Billy was about to be dropped by Columbia.
So he had to do what they told him to do in the
single at the beginning, then you put the single at the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, it was back in the days of an album a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had, and whether you wanted to or not, you had to have an album out, and it had to be finished and prepped, and you had to do everything and do everything all within a space of a year.
So filler.
So
and that might account for those last couple of tracks that we've just kind of written off there, might it?
Having said that, we're saying they're not really good. If I'd written either of them, I'd be really chuffed.
Oh, me too.
It's like, it's like
I didn't say the last track was dull or.
But your ears are almost as cloth as his, aren't they?
No, it's good, Mikey.
It is.
It's like it's trying to be a big old finish. It doesn't quite hit that mark for me. That's all.
I get it. There is stronger tracks on the album. I'll give you that 100%.
Yeah.
And what
I
say about The Stranger is, for me, is I found there was no reaching for the skip button.
That's good.
It didn't.
Yeah.
Even the ones that I was like, not really getting this. I think I could quite happily listen to The Stranger moving forward from start to finish and not skip a track.
Yeah.
Whereas when we did Elton's Blue Moose, for example, there would be songs, unfortunately, in that album, maybe because it's a double album, but primarily because I think there's stuff on there.
Batshit crazy.
None of this is filler to me.
There's one
But
song on
none of this
Blue
album's
Moves.
filler to
There's
me.
only one song that needs to be taken off Blue Moves, and that's it. Between 17 and 20 is the only song that needs to come off.
But the thing is moving forward though, from this point in 77, right up to 1993, his songwriting, he might have dipped in a couple of places and stuff like that, but he was still writing bangers all the way through. Like all the way through. And when he stopped writing and stopped producing his own material after River of Dreams, we have lost out massively over the last 30 plus years from somebody who can write a tune. I mean, when he brought Turn the Lights Back On out the start of last year, there's a banger of a tune. And I think it's just a shame that he's not enjoyed writing anymore. And with
Well, I think that's it. He's done his classical albums, his classical
album in
music,
between, yeah.
and he gets more out of that. He's earned the right to be able to do that now. It is a shame, but having been an Elton John fan and living through some of the shite he put out in the 90s, I'm not sure which. I mean, he came out of it, thankfully. You haven't got anything as bad as Leather Jackets in the Billy Joel collection.
No, but he's actually said that he's now open to writing with other people, and he's not closed the door again on potentially writing more songs or writing another album. I just don't think he wants the pressure on him to say that he's going to do it. I think if it's going to happen, it's going to happen naturally. So
yeah,
there is a chance of more material to come, but I don't think he wants to do it on his own anymore.
I mean, there's endless Joel live albums out there, isn't there? Now?
They're just because he's constantly toured up until now when he's being told that he can't at the minute.
Yeah,
but he's been touring regularly since he stopped recording. I mean, he had a break for a while and then came back. But
it's interesting because I wasn't aware. I knew of the Elton and the two piano shows, but I wasn't aware they'd been running for 16 years by the time they finished them. It's like the amount of stuff that he did touring wise. I mean, he did that Madison Square thing for 10 years.
The
Madison Square residency thing. He did
the 100
shows, 100 shows or something. He did 16 years without one, and plus he did all these big stadium tours in between, and they were huge stadium tours. I mean, it wasn't small shows.
Yeah, I mean, he played the last gig at Shea Stadium, didn't he?
Yeah.
Because that's on Disney Plus still, isn't it?
It's here. It's here, Craig.
Yes, but if you wanted a nice 4K,
it's here.
Interestingly, as well, if you look at the audiences in its shows, it's not as if they've stayed the same age all the way through. There are young people that.
No, I think parents have taken their kids and they've kind of grown up with him.
Yeah.
It is a shame we've not had anything new from him. But River of Dreams is a good way to go out, isn't it? At least he didn't go out on a poor record.
On a duffer, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not quite at the height of Stormfront, but it's not a duffer.
Here we go. I don't know
it's a hill I'll die on.
I don't know what my favourite Joel album is, because the early ones are all like this. They've got like 3 or 4 classic Joel songs on them, each of them.
It's not An Innocent Man, though, is it?
Definitely not An Innocent Man. That was a massive.
It's still Nylon Curtain for me. It has to be. Although I do have to say, 52nd Street and Now the Stranger, I will be playing a lot more than what I have been.
Yeah.
Just to throw some rubbishy chart information at you. The highest it got in the UK was 24. Spent about 9 weeks on the chart, which I don't think's too bad. But the company he had in the charts that week was second to none. We've got Peter Gabriel's second album, Peter Gabriel 2. David Gilmour's first solo album. Scrolling up, we've got Black and White by the Stranglers.
Rare
Rumours. Yeah, Rumours, Fleetwood Mac. Out of the Blue, ELO.
Another great
Out of Hell. Yeah, Bat Out of Hell, Meatloaf.
Not bad, is it?
Grease, original soundtrack. You've got And Then There Were Three, Genesis.
Yeah.
Tonic for the Troops, Boomtown Rats.
Great
The album.
records. These.
Yeah, Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds.
Oh, not so good.
Shut up.
Kid Bush's The Kick Inside. And
Awesome
at
album.
number one, there was Saturday Night Fever soundtrack.
Yeah.
There was some big artists out there for him to be fighting against, and
There's a reason people of our age like good music, really, isn't there? There is nothing bad in that list.
There isn't,
it is
but
good music.
I mean, looking at Billy though in the UK, the singles were big, but The Stranger wasn't a big album for him, was it?
Well, the thing is with Billy in the UK, his singles were very inconsistent. If there was 5 singles in America and 4 of them did well out of the 5, in the UK out of 5 singles, only 1 or 2 of them would do well. He's not had the sustainability and stuff like that. I think one of the things as well, because I've got quite a lot of the dual leg singles on, like some vinyl and CD and stuff like that, and he's not one for B sides or different versions of things.
No,
and stuff like that.
you
So
basically get an album track as a B side.
Yeah,
don't
that's again, that goes back to your comment about an album a year. Why would he waste a track as a B side? You had to put an album a year out. So
yeah, that's it. So I mean, you'll see.
There's also probably the flip side. So if you look at in the 70s of British artists that were making it in the UK and trying to make it in the States, they had that same difficulty. And I think although the music crossed over and the singles did well, when you were doing touring and album sales and stuff, it was a very different market on both sides. And the American one was still very much that local radio thing where was it that? In fact, no, it wasn't. It was the Becoming Led Zeppelin show where they were saying that they were getting the whole side of an album played on the FM radio station the day of a gig, and they're saying, this is Led Zeppelin. If you like it, they're playing tonight. And that still happened in America in 77, 78. The smaller stations would play sides of an album and go, they're playing the town tonight, go down and get a ticket. And it was in the days when you did walk down to the venue and buy a ticket on the day.
Yeah.
Whereas we didn't have that. We had very different radio coverage in the UK. You might have had Caroline and Luxembourg and what have you, but most of it was BBC stuff, and you didn't have that kind of grassroots type movement.
Yeah, they wanted the shorter, poppier kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, in the Super Deluxe of this album, there's a DVD with the Old Grey Whistle Test broadcast from March 78 on it, which would have been probably his first major exposure in the UK. And, it's a great set list, but there's only probably the singles on there. Yeah. Moving Out's on there. Always a Woman's on there. And Just the Way You Are's on there. Oh, and Only the Good Die Young. So, but the rest of it is older stuff. Miami.
Some of that footage is
on Broadway is on there. Craig's favourite New York State of Mind's on there. Souvenir, so it's
because there's Old Grey Whistle Test footage in the documentary, isn't there? Because I remember sitting with
there is, but it's from that.
There's bits.
Yeah, so my wife and I were sitting watching it, and I remember saying, "I said, you know what? I miss that show."
It's on YouTube. That show.
Yeah, no, I just meant I miss Old Grey Whistle Test because if you look, it was phenomenal.
Yeah,
and things like Billy Joel and Blondie and all the stuff that you used to get that. You got to see more of a band than you would be able to hear elsewhere. You got to see the deeper cuts and the older material that perhaps hadn't been released in the UK because they'd not been known or what have you.
Yeah.
It was like a visual version of the John Peel sessions, wasn't it?
Yes,
really, it was
exactly.
It just gave you depth and insight into artists that you wouldn't normally get privy to.
I suppose the modern equivalent is Six Music, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
But overall, do we like The Stranger?
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Do we recommend it?
Highly recommend it.
Highly recommend it.
Ditto.
It's a great record. It really is. If you've not heard it, give it a try. If this has piqued your interest into Billy, there's lots to go back into in his back catalogue. Try the HBO documentary, and So It Goes, and the audio set that's streaming, because they're just fantastic music on there.
And Stormfront, says Craig.
Yeah, and Stormfront.
I didn't say a word, but I highly recommend it.
Stormfront's a great album from the 80s.
89.
There you go.
A good
Only
year.
just the 80s. Thank you very much for listening. It's good night from Michael K.
Good night, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Good night from Graham Tennick.
Good night. Thanks again for having us.
Thank you, mate. And good night from my partner in crime, Craig Houston.
Good night, Vienna.
Hey, take care.
And stay alive.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey.
Thanks for listening.
To Planet Music from the makers of Planet Marzipan.
If you like what you've heard, please like and subscribe, and maybe even join our Facebook discussion group.
You can contact us at planetmarzipanpodcast@gmail.com.